Hello everyone, it's Kari from sunshineinmypocket.com. Today I have the Altenew Build a Flower Queen of the Lilies stamp set. Look at this set. There are all these layers so that you could build up a realistic, amazing flower. And I'm going to show you how to use this today. I'm going to show you a couple different options and put together two different cards. I really love how these turn out when you stamp all the layers. It comes with these leaves as well, which are also layering stamps, and some really great sentiments, like I smile when I think of you. I love it. You also get this die set that cuts out the lily itself and also the leaves. And another thing I love about Altenew is they have this idea pamphlet in the stamp set, so you can open it up and see some color inspiration, some suggestions, and how to layer things up. You also have some card fronts that give you ideas, and you can also cut those out and use them as your cards if you wanted to. So I've got a bunch of Altenew colors and then some light gray ink here as well that I love, and I'm going to be using these to create two different lilies. So for my first layer, I'm going to stamp it up in just black for this first card. The black is the outline stamp here. I always like to start with the outline stamp. I think it's easier to line things up when you start with the outline stamp. But you're going to see in my next card that I don't use that stamp at all. So stay tuned for that. Now I'm going to line up the second layer and stamp it in this gray ink here. And you can see that I turn the paper. Look at that. I mean, it's such beautiful detail. I turn the paper every time so that I can line two of them up in my MISTI at a time. For the third layer, it's easy to layer this one up as well. And these are numbered for you too. So you can see this third layer has two separate stamps. So layer those up at the same time. I'm going to use the same gray ink and I'm just going to stamp it 2 times. So this layer is going to be darker than the first layer. I kind of wanted a white lily, and to get the whiteness, you have to add in those shadows. So this gray is actually acting as the shadows on this particular lily. And you can see it coming together here. It's so simple to do. And look how easy these are to line up. So now I'm setting up the next layer, the fourth layer, and I'm going to do that in this yellow ink from Altenew. This is the Honey Drizzle, and it is one of my favorite yellows. I tend to reach for this one quite a lot. So this is going to be the stripes in the lily in the center. Look how pretty that is. So see how easy this is when you line them up side by side in your MISTI, and you can do 2 flowers at a time. So that's why I like to do it this way. Now let's move on to the next layer, but look at how these flowers are turning out. This next layer is the dot layer, and I'm going to do this in an orange color. And this will really make the lily pop with that shout of orange here. There you go. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the center part, which is the stamens. For this one, I'm using that green ink I showed you, which is the sweet leaf. And I'll just stamp those stamens in the green. And then the last layer that we have are just the pollen layer. I like to call it the pollen layer. I don't know what that is really called. I just know that my mom is allergic to these in real life. So I have to cut the pollen layer off if I ever have lilies and she's coming over. I will tell you that she likes a paper version of these flowers a lot better. So I call it the pollen layer. I'm going to stamp this one in the fired brick red. I think that's what this one is called. And I'm just doing this with a free standing acrylic block. It's really easy to layer up. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut these out and look at these beautiful flowers. To make the background of this one easy, I'm choosing some pattern paper in a light colored watercolor wash look. And look at how pretty these are. They just jump right off that background. I'm going to cut that down to an A2 sized card, and then I'll layer this up with that sentiment that says, I smile when I think of you. Really, really cute. So I just stamped that on, popped up the flowers with some foam tape, and that is our card for this first one. Really simple and easy to put together. When you have the inks that color for you, it saves a lot of time. Here's the second one where I'm not using that first layer stamp. So remember the first layer was the outline layer. I'm going to go in with the second stamp instead, starting off, and I'm going to stamp it in the lightest rose quartz color. And look at what a pretty pink stamp we're going to get. The second layer is going to be that middle layer, which is the puffy heart color. And then I'll stamp the next layer, which is the stripes, in the purple wine. And so this is turning out to be a very beautiful pink lily with a no line look. The stamen I stamped in black, and then I went ahead and freehand stamped the pollen layer with the honey drizzle, my favorite yellow. And there you go. That's building this up. Just so easy. I'll cut these out and put together that card. Here's the first card. I smile when I think of you. And the second card I went ahead and watercolored myself as well. I used all the colors, the greens, the blues, the pinks, and you can see I also added the layering leaves here on this one and a little bit of glitter on that pollen layer. I used the sentiment that says sending lots of hugs that also came in the stamp set. And look at how simple these were to put together. This is part of a blog hop with giveaways. I'll link the blog below where you can start the hop and comment along if you want to enter to win. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll be back real soon with more card making inspiration. Until then, keep up the crafting. Bye-bye.